This is TWiT.
Can we talk about Xilinx?
Yeah, big acquisition. It's really interesting to see what's happening between NVIDIA going after ARM and now AMD going after Xilinx. This is another giant acquisition, $35 billion. Wesley, you're going to have to tell us what it all means.
So Xilinx mainly does the interconnects for moving data from one place to the other, so inside of racks and data centers, and also for the 5G towers of doing the interconnects there. They're really into advanced photonics, so basically sending light in order to make sure that they're fiber based. They're fiber, but they have cracked the code really in FPGAs, and so they can do AI acceleration. Basically, they can make custom accelerators. So whatever your task is, whatever you want to optimize for, they can make FPGAs to do that. And you can see from AMD's history that they're moving in that direction to do very specialized acceleration for specific workloads. And that's why they can easily make a really fast server computer that does very hard and large workloads, and then use some of that same expertise to make the next gen gaming system, to tackle some hard problems, but that are specific depending on the customer. And so they use the same chiplet technology. They even use the same foundries, and so the synergy is very, very high for them to be able to use some of each other's IP to make what they do even better.
I am so impressed with Lisa Su and AMD's strategic vision. This has been an exciting time. I mean, forget Intel. Let's talk about NVIDIA and AMD. That's where all the exciting stuff's happening. Sam?
Yeah, the other thing that Xilinx does, they do a lot of SoCs that combine their FPGA technology with ARM cores. So they have a whole line of these SoCs, and a lot of them are actually used in automotive applications as well, which is an area that AMD's never been involved in, and NVIDIA is gaining a big foothold in there, especially as we get into automated driving and a lot of the infotainment stuff. They're starting to gain a real foothold there. And I know I've heard from various people at AMD wanted to break into automotive over the last couple of years. They haven't done anything yet, but this could give them an entry into the automotive sector with Xilinx. Recently, Continental, a major automotive supplier, announced a new imaging radar sensor that is powered by one of these Xilinx SoCs. So, again, this is something that would give AMD another advantage over Intel, both having some ARM capability with Xilinx and the FPGA capability. And I think it sounds like from what Wesley was saying, the network interconnect stuff sounds might be similar to in some ways to what NVIDIA got with its acquisition of Mellanox.
Well, you nailed it. Here's the slide from AMD, and it shows significant revenue synergy opportunities in those three categories. Data centers, where FPGAs are widely used, and ARM is coming on strong. In communications infrastructure, as Wesley was talking about, the interconnects. And then, as you were saying, Sam, in embedded, leverage broad customer base and distribution platform, extend AMD CPUs into key embedded segments. They haven't. Has AMD had much of a presence in automotive up to now?
None at all.
None at all.
Never done any automotive grade stuff up until now.
Yeah.
They had a little bit of automotive in the infotainment space with their ATI acquisition. They had a small, that was more of the graphics in terms of small embedded space there.
Okay,
but
so
they sold it off.
GPUs
They sold it off really quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they didn't maintain that space, and I think that's also a really good example of past acquisitions. I mean, ATI has come along since then, but I was there during that acquisition. The way that the companies integrated caused a lot of friction. And I know that they said that Xilinx is going to operate differently. That could be positive and negative as their own separate entity. When ATI first came on board, it was almost like a firewall between the two companies. One of the projects I worked on needed like advanced access to their GPUs in order to do some testing, and we could not get them because ATI would send it to all their OEM partners first. And so what we had to do is talk to our OEM partners, and when they got the card, they would just send it to us, so we can get it. And all depends on how they integrate with Xilinx in terms of company culture, which is going to probably be the determining factor if they're going to be successful or not.
Patrick Morehouse is writing for Forbes about this. Morehead, I'm sorry, you know him.
Yeah,
brings up this exact thing. He says but that was 14 years ago. And it's a different company now and a very different. In fact, they haven't really done many acquisitions. They haven't even had the money. I mean, $35 billion. In a way, that's a statement as much about AMD's recent success as anything else. That they actually
they're strong right now. They're on the up and up and to the right. And with this acquisition, that's what I'm saying. That they are opening up a whole. They can hit the gas tank, the gas pedal, basically on what they're trying to do and the corner that they're trying to carve out. It's extremely future focused, this acquisition. I know what Intel got Altera. I wrote notes just so I could reference them. That's kind of in the same kind of space.
Yeah.
But Intel collects companies and then they kind of just try to keep up, and there's not a really good integration. With the previous CEOs with AMD, I think that was a really bad weak spot in terms of not only getting other companies to work together, but even departments. I tell this joke. One CES, I went to show up for our booth, and there were 4 AMD booths because they all registered differently because no one was talking to each other. I think Dr. Sue has really cleaned that up, and she has gotten everyone on the same page. So that's why I'm really excited about it.
It is. It's really exciting.